So if I was to go here, that means this stuff would be quite long. So if I wanted that shorter and I pulled my hands down further, that means the front stuff would be really short. So you always have to think about what you're doing and why. So what I choose to do on this is I'd rather go back and take off the length than I would have the top part too short. But I love compressed cutting because it's quick. I can do like this, both of these, like this whole section is done in 2 cuts. So I'm going to start about here. My finger angle right now is horizontal to the floor. And it honestly, it can switch. Like basically if I wanted to have more length towards the back, I would change my finger direction, right? So can you see how if I was this way, you'd have more length towards the back of the head? Or I could go this way and I'd have more length towards the front. So just always think about those little details. So now you can see how that's going to sit. It's going to go on a diagonal. So I can go back in and I can cut some of that tail off. So it just depends what the guest wants. Now I'm going to do the same thing on the opposite side, and I'm going to comb some of the old hair up so that I can just get my guideline from the other side so we can make that nice and even. It's always so weird when you're cutting with scissors that aren't your own.
Yeah.
All right, so you can see what kind of shape that makes. Now for the right person, it would be probably really cool to leave that. I would say probably what I would do once it's dry, like I personally would wear that, but I probably have 50% of my short haircuts that wouldn't wear that. So then you can go back in once you blow dry that and you could just pinch and talk. So it's like just closing your shears, kind of like Pac-Man. So what I would do is pinch pieces and just talk down the shear until I create the length that I want. Or you could go in with a razor and take off, like whatever, that's where your creativity gets to come in. Then for our next section, we're gonna do radial partings. So what does that mean?
Pivot on a circle?
Exactly, so just like a pizza, right? So the top point of our triangle is where it's going to start. You can see that on the left side. And what we are going to do is our finger angle is going to be diagonal back. So I'm going to probably do this whole top in about 4 sections. So again, you got to think how short do you want the hair to be in the crown, and why am I directing my finger angle back?
So you have length at the front?
So I have more length at the front. So you just always, I would always do the check. How long do you want that to be? All right. Now this is where you can be a little bit creative. For this haircut, what we do is we over direct everything back to the first section, which means that the one side is going to be longer, right? So it's going to give it a little bit of double identity. You can have a few different looks, like if you part it to so the first section I cut is going to have more layering than this back section because it's over directing over. Does this make sense?
Mm-hmm.
So that's kind of cool because you can have a look where it has more body and more layering, but if you switch it the other way, it's going to be a lot longer. So it gives 2 different looks. Do you have to do it that way?
No.
No, it totally just depends what the guest wants. So we're going to comb that back to the first section. We're going to elevate to the 90. We're going to have finger angle going diagonal back. How many of you do a lot of funky shortcuts in the salon? Are you having more guests that are asking for short hair that are women?
I have lots.
How many of you enjoy doing those types of clients?
I do.
So can I share a secret with you at how to get your chair full with those types of clients? So when we're doing hair, what I always tell everybody, including my staff and at classes, is that if you want to have your guests make changes and you don't want them to wear the same thing all the time, what do you have to do yourself?
Suggest it?
Suggest it, but what about your own style?
Oh, change it.
So it does. I'm not saying you have to chop all your hair off or you have every second week, or like some people may never cut their hair off. But if you notice, like I have short hair and I have a lot of short haired clients, right? Because my clients are exposed to it. So they see it, it gets them inspired, they start thinking about it. So then I attract a lot of those clients. I find when you're blonde, I used to have long blonde hair, I had a lot of long blonde clients. Now it's not always that way, but it's the same thing. They say that you start to attract clients that are similar to you, and as you age, your clientele ages with you. Because often we tend to attract clients that are similar to us. So even if it's something small that you make a change, if you haven't changed your hair in the last 6 months, I would change something about it. Because it's like we can't expect them to change if you're too scared to change, right? So it's just a little bit about like walking the walk. And honestly, when I cut my hair, I started getting more requests for short haircuts than ever before. So it's that's kind of just the honest truth of it.
Clients always ask us, oh, I want the color that's in your hair. I want what you have.
Yeah,
absolutely.
But I've also ran into the whole like, oh, but who cut your hair? Because that's who I want to see. And you're like, I can do it better.
My clients always say, I love your hair, but I don't want it.
Well, and I get that a lot too. People will be like, your hair's so funky, Celine. But I mean, that wouldn't work for me. And the excuse you get with women with long hair is that would never work on my face shape. And I just call BS on it. I'm like, well, you know what? That's actually not true. There's a right cut for every face shape. So if your face shape is round and you want to have short hair, I wouldn't cut it to your jaw. I would wear something that was asymmetrical. I have a very square face shape. My face is wide down here. If I had a bob, my face would look huge, right? So you either need to go above it or you need to go asymmetrical so that it cuts a line through it. So it's just like, it's a security blanket for women. I had long hair, and every time I would take like this much off, I'd be like, my hair is so short. She cut it all off. It's just like blondes. When I was blonde, if they put in 3 lowlights, I thought I had brown hair. It's like, my hair is brown. It's like, no, you're like a level 12. You don't have brown hair.